Okay, so we are all living through this insane AI revolution, right? It feels like science fiction is just real now. But here's the thing. There's a massive gap between the flashy AI we see and the kind of AI we actually need. So let's get into it. I want to kick things off with this quote from the scientist Stephen Wolfram. He said modern AI is a blurry JPEG of all the text on the web. Kind of weird, right? What in the world does that mean? Just hang on, because by the time we're done here, that phrase is going to make a whole lot of sense, and it might just change how you see these tools. All right, first up, let's talk about the AI that's everywhere. You know, these large language models, the LLMs. And let's be honest, they feel like straight up magic. You can talk to them, they can write stuff, they can be super creative. It's just wild what they can do. I mean, just think about it for a second. These things can whip up a poem about your cat, spit out lines of code that actually work, chew through a massive report and give you the summary. They can even write that awkward email you've been putting off. This is the wow factor, right? This is why everyone is so hyped. And it's true. They're powerful tools that are totally changing the game for a lot of us.
But here's where things get interesting. What if I told you that underneath all that digital magic, the whole thing is, well, a little bit flawed? That there are some pretty big cracks in the system, these ghosts in the machine, that show they aren't nearly as smart as they seem.
So let's put this to the test. Let's give one of these AIs a classic brain teaser. You've probably heard this one. If a hen and a half lay an egg and a half in a day and a half, how many eggs do 6 hens lay in 7 days? You could probably figure this out with a little bit of step-by-step thinking, so the big question is, how does a super advanced AI do with it? Yeah, you guessed it. A lot of the time, it completely botches it. You'll get an answer that kind of feels right if you don't think too hard. And that's because the AI isn't thinking. It's just seeing a pattern of words and numbers and making a guess that looks plausible. It's not actually reasoning through the problem. And we're not talking about quantum physics here. This is just basic logic. And this isn't just a fluke with riddles. This kind of failure is super common. They have these known issues, and the biggest one has a great name: hallucinations. That's basically a fancy way of saying the AI just makes stuff up. It will invent facts, create fake sources, you name it. Why? Because its main goal isn't to be right, it's to be convincing. Okay, so this is the real mystery, right? How can something be smart enough to write poetry, but too dumb to solve a simple logic puzzle? To understand that, we have to look under the hood and figure out what these things actually are. And here's the secret sauce. An LLM isn't some thinking, conscious brain. Not at all. It's basically the world's most sophisticated autocomplete. It's a pattern-matching machine that has read a giant chunk of the internet, and its one and only job is to guess which word should come next in a sentence based on what it's seen before. This is the most important part to get. They don't understand what a hen is or what an egg is. They just know that those words often appear together. They are just amazing at predicting text. So when you ask it a question, it's not thinking or reasoning. It's just stringing together words that, statistically speaking, look like a plausible answer. It's a parrot, not a philosopher. So now, let's go back to that quote from the beginning. A blurry JPEG of all the text on the web. It makes sense now, doesn't it? A JPEG is a compressed copy of a picture. It looks pretty good, but if you zoom way in, you see it's all fuzzy and imprecise. LLMs are just like that, but for text. They're a fuzzy, compressed version of all the human knowledge they were trained on. It looks good from far away, but up close, the details can be wrong.
Okay, so if the AI we have now is basically just one half of a brain, how do we fix it? What's the next step? Well, it looks like the answer might be to, well, give it the other half.
And the inspiration for this actually comes from right here, inside our own heads. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman came up with this brilliant idea that we humans have two different ways of thinking. He called them System 1 and System 2.
And what's so cool is that this idea maps perfectly onto AI. System 1 is that fast, automatic, gut-feeling kind of thinking. It's all about pattern recognition. Sound familiar? That is exactly what today's LLMs are. They're pure System 1. But they're totally missing System 2, the slow, careful, step-by-step logical part of our brain. And for that, we need to look at a different kind of AI. The missing piece is something called symbolic AI. Now, this is an older school of AI. Think of it less like a creative writer and more like a brutally efficient logic machine. It can't write you a poem, but it operates on pure, cold, hard logic and rules. It's the calculator, the reasoner. And it is the exact logical engine that our current creative AIs are missing.
And this right here is what the next big leap in AI is all about. It's not just about building bigger and bigger models. It's about building smarter models by combining these two approaches. It's about creating a hybrid AI.
So what does that actually look like in practice? It's pretty elegant. Step 1. You ask it something in normal everyday language. The LLM, our Fast System 1, understands what you're asking. Step 2. The LLM realizes, hey, this part needs logic, and it hands that piece of the problem over to the Symbolic AI, our System 2. Step 3. The Symbolic engine crunches the numbers, applies the logic, and spits out a perfectly accurate, structured answer. And finally, Step 4. It hands that correct answer back to the LLM, which then turns it into a friendly, easy-to-understand sentence for you. It's a team effort.
And the difference this makes is just huge. Look at this. You don't lose any of that amazing conversational ability, that fluency we love, but look at the jump in reasoning and reliability. We're talking about going from kind of flaky to rock solid. You literally get the best of both worlds, an AI you can talk to that you can also trust to get the facts right.
Ultimately, this is the goal, isn't it? To have an AI that's not just a fun chatbot, but a tool that's truthful, logical, and genuinely reliable. It's about finally getting past that blurry JPEG and creating something that's truly sharp and in focus.
So that really leaves us with a big question about where all of this is headed. For the last few years, the race has been all about making these AI models bigger, just feeding them more and more data. But maybe, just maybe, the next real leap forward isn't about making them bigger, but about making them smarter. What do you think is the path forward? Thanks for diving into this with me.